westbound on 6. Copy that, Unit 5. Base to Air 3. Any sign of that program follow?
Air 3 to base? Negative. Got a visual on heading west on 7th Street Bridge.
Copy, Air 3. All units.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. Here's an interesting movie event that's happening on BBC Three on Thursday at 10 o'clock. BBC Three is showing Drive, the Nick Winding Refn film, which is a really terrific movie, which became very, very famous for its soundtrack. People love that soundtrack and have written about it endlessly and talked about how much the soundtrack is tied up with the power of the film. Well, Radio 1 have rescored Drive, and BBC Three are playing it 10 o'clock on Thursday with a new score, with artists like Eric Prydz, Bastille, the 1975, Bring Me the Horizon, all of whom have provided original music for key scenes. So it's watching the film with an entirely new soundtrack. Now, this has caused some consternation. There have been some people saying, why on earth would you take a film like Drive, which is so famous for its soundtrack, which everyone loves, and replace it with something different? Well, Radio 1 have been very, very clear. Zane Lowe himself has said, look, this is not a criticism of the original score. This is an alternative score. And crucially, they've done it with the involvement and the full participation of Nick Winding Refn, who is very, very pleased to see the film being taken and used in a different way. Now, I've had a taster of the new screening of Radio 1 Rescores Drive, and I have to say it's a very different experience. I'm somebody who loves the original score, and the artists who have recorded the new score are not necessarily the kind of people that I would have heard of even. But I think it's a very interesting realignment of the film. Do I have a problem with it? Well, it reminds me of a similar circumstance with Silent Running, which, as I know you all know, is one of my favourite films of all time. We just did a screening of it at the Eden Project. There's a lovely score for Silent Running, Peter Shickley with songs by Joan Baez, and I'm passionately wedded to that score. However, the film has played with a live accompaniment by 65 Days of Static, which I am assured is absolutely brilliant. Now, I've heard the 65 Days of Static score. I haven't seen it performed with Silent Running. Why? Well, because I love Silent Running and I love Peter Shickley. But I did speak to Doug Trumbull, the director of Silent Running, and I said, how do you feel about the rescore? And he said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm flattered by it. He said, not really my kind of music, it's not for me, but I love the fact that they've done it, and I really appreciate the fact they've done it. Well, Nick Winding Refn seems to feel the same way about Drive, and I'm very interested to know what you think. It's amazing just how much changing the music of a film can make a difference. As you probably know, Ridley Scott's film Legend was famously released with two different scores, one by Jerry Goldsmith, one by Tangerine Dream. Watching the film is a totally different experience. So, check the film out. BBC Three, 10 o'clock, Drive rescored by Radio 1. Watch and listen with an open mind, and then let me know what you thought and how old you are, because I think that's going to be a key element.
Radio 1 rescores. Drive, October 30th, 10 p.m, BBC Three. Starring Ryan Gosling, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Soundtrack curated by me, Zane Lowe. October 30th, 10 p.m, BBC Three.